gonna get started. I'm just getting started on YouTube here. I am so excited today to talk about how to stop thinking about your ex, how to let go of them, and how to detach, and why detachment is so important if you want to move forward, heal, go on to another relationship, and or if you want to get them back. It works both ways. So whether you want your ex back or you just want to be able to heal and move on, the steps to get there are the exact same, and detachment is the key to getting there. So, first, we need to talk about what is detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't have any more emotions or feelings. It doesn't mean that you're avoiding the way that you feel or you're suppressing any sadness, anger, or hurt that you have. Detachment is simply acceptance of any outcome. Detachment is letting go of trying to force something, trying to control the outcome, trying to control how somebody sees you or how you present yourself. Detachment is I'm showing up exactly as I am. I'm going to speak and honor my truth, my needs, my boundaries. And I'm okay with whatever happens based off of that because I know I'm being true to myself. So, detachment helps you get whatever you want because whatever it is, if you are attached to that outcome, that person is going to feel that energy and it's going to be a repellent to them because nobody likes to feel like somebody is reliant on them for everything, for their happiness. It doesn't feel good. It's not a healthy dynamic or a healthy relationship. And when you are clinging on, especially if that person tends to have more avoidant type characteristics, it's going to push them away because they already believe that emotions, feelings, are overwhelming, that other people are going to have these super high expectations of them that they can never meet. And that is what actually pushes them away. So, if you want to get your ex back, and especially if they're avoidant, you have to detach from the outcome and detach from them. That's what actually helps their nervous system feel safe again. It helps them get to a more regulated place where they can actually evaluate how they feel about you, how they felt about the relationship, what they need and want, and just see things more clearly. Okay, so this a detachment is when you authentically express your needs, you navigate conflict and repair well from an authentic place, from a place that speaks from your truth and what you desire and what you need. And it is important in any of these scenarios because that is when you are in most alignment with yourself. So even if you are still in a relationship with somebody, you're not going through a breakup right now, but you need to navigate the current dynamics. Let's say you're in a relationship with an avoidant person, or even if you're in a relationship with an anxious person, because really anxious and avoidant attachment styles are two sides of the same coin. Whether you are in the relationship or not, having detachment is actually going to create better outcomes for you and your relationship because you're not attached to what happens, which means that you can show up more authentically yourself. You can speak up about the areas that need work. You can be authentic to how you're feeling and share your feelings, what you need from the relationship. And you can actually create a better dynamic between both of you because you can both show up honestly. However, if the other person is not ready or willing to do that, then they may feel either pushed away because it's too much vulnerability, or they might feel like they can't show up for you. But as long as you have detachment from their response or their behavior, this action or behavior, the way that you show up, is going to be beneficial for you in the long run because you're not attached to staying in the relationship. You're not attached to remaining with this person, which means you can show up authentically. And even if they respond in a way that doesn't feel good or doesn't tell you that the relationship is going to continue or continue to be a supportive environment for you, then because you're not attached to them, you're not attached to the relationship, you can make a good decision for yourself whether you want to move forward and continue to try and work on this thing with this person, or you can figure out, okay, what is the next best thing for me? Do I need to leave this relationship? Do I need to take a different approach? What is it that's going to be best for you? And when you live from this place of non attachment, all of these decisions become a lot easier. So, I have this messy bun theory. So, for most of the women, you know that if you've ever tried to do a messy bun, typically the first time you put it up is actually the best because you're not attached to the outcome. You're like, I'm just going to throw my hair up into a bun. I'm going to see, maybe I can do this here. Um, so, you like are like, oh, yeah, I'm just throwing my hair up into a bun. And for some reason, it looks really good. But you're like, oh, maybe I can make it better. Maybe if I just redo it real quick and just try to make this part a little bit less lumpy, it'll look better. And then it doesn't look better. And then you try again and you're like, okay, why is this so bad? It's getting worse. And you start getting more frustrated because you're more attached to the outcome. You think that by trying harder, you're going to get a better messy bun look. Let me see if this is going to work here. It might not because I might be attached to the outcome, but we'll see. Oop, see, it's a little awkward, but it's not the worst. I kind of like this dangly thing. But usually the first time you do it, it's always the best because you were unattached to the way that it actually looked. You were just putting your hair up because you needed it up. And then you start to get attached to the way it looks, and that's when it actually starts getting worse. So that's a great example of how attachment and detachment can work in your life and why detachment is so important because usually outcomes are better when you're detached. So let's talk about, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna detach from the way that this all looks now. So let's talk about ways that you can detach or how to get better at detachment. One way is to write out all of the things that weren't good and would need to change in the relationship in order for you to feel good in the relationship, in order for you to have this or want this person back in your life. So write out what wasn't working for you. What were the red flags? What needed to change in order for you to actually feel good in this relationship? My gosh, it's so hot in here. Okay. Then you'll be able to start seeing what was happening, the dynamics that were at play in the relationship that maybe weren't as good as you think they were because right now you're looking back with these rose-colored glasses and you're not seeing things clearly. Your brain chemistry is all off, your dopamine, serotonin levels are all out of whack. You're in the state of motivation that I need this drug back, I need this person back, I need this attachment back. And that's why it hurts so much that they're gone and why you feel like you really need to get this person back into your life. So, write out all of those things that were not working and then really sit with these situations, conversations, whatever it was that came up in the relationship that weren't working for you, that weren't supportive for you, or ways in which they really didn't support you or even took you down or made you feel bad about something. Sit with that and feel what emotions come up based off of what happened in those instances and actually get yourself to feel the anger, the sadness, the hurt, even the disgust towards what happened. Because a lot of times we suppress and we try to make up excuses for why the other person showed up the way they did. Now, people will make mistakes, and that's okay. But people also have to own their mistakes and want to do something differently in order for you to continue to really have a healthy relationship with that person. But if they continue to repeat the same mistakes over and over, they don't really have any remorse, they don't take accountability, they get defensive. Well, those aren't good signs that this is a person that really wants to show up as a partner for you. And if that's the case, and you want a loving, healthy relationship, then you need to be disgusted at the fact that this person was unable to show up in a healthy and loving way for you in the relationship. Hi, everyone. We will do questions at the end. So if you do have questions, you can leave them in the chat and I will answer them at the end. Okay. So get disgusted, get angry, get upset at the way that you were treated because you have probably been suppressing that emotion in order to try to keep the relationship or the person because you were attached to them. So this will help with that sense of attachment because you'll be able to see things more clearly and be able to decide, maybe this actually wasn't the healthiest relationship for me. Maybe this person wasn't showing up in the way that I really needed in order for us to problem solve and repair and move forward in the relationship. Um, mm, mm. and you can use this list as your closure. So maybe you feel like you needed more reasons for why you didn't show up the best or why they don't want you. Well, you can use this list of all the things that they did that actually hurt you as your closure, because get very clear on you don't want this person that would treat you this way to be your partner, to be your lifelong partner. This person that you choose to be with is pretty much the most important decision you will make in your entire life as a long term life partner. So you need to make sure that you're actually choosing somebody that is good for you, that helps support you, breathes life into you, not somebody that takes you down, that makes you question your worth all the time, that can never take accountability and always fights back when you're just trying to express how you feel and trying to get closer to them. So, if they can't do those things, if they will repeatedly take actions that hurt you and they know that and they never take responsibility for that, make that the closure that you need on this person, this partner, this relationship. Okay. The other aspect of this is that your attachment to them has kept you so focused on them. So you're watching videos, reading books, listening to podcasts about how to get them back, what they're thinking, why they pushed you away. You're making sure, even in the relationship, like, how can I keep them happy? How can I make sure that I don't say the wrong thing so that they leave me? It was this attachment to them that is keeping you hooked here. So, and so that is the reason for the way that the relationship played out. So your attachment was actually working against you, and it's the thing that's keeping you distracted from actually being able to heal and move on, because you are so focused on them and you're not focused on yourself. So, what we'll talk about next is that you also need to start putting focus back on yourself and start putting focus back on your life. So, take the attention that you have off of I lack to I am grateful for. Focus on the things that you have in your life that are actually beneficial towards you, things that you can have gratitude for. Look at all of the abundance around you. Find gratitude in the small things and the big things and the lessons in all of the experiences that you've gone through so far to shape you into where you are now in a healthy and positive way. Look at even the hard things. What silver lining can you take from that? What lesson can you learn from that? How can you use that to find a better partner that is more in alignment with you, create a relationship that is healthier for you? How can you use that to get to know yourself more deeply? How can you use that to show up better as a partner as well? Because in any relationship, no person is going to be perfect, and every partner is a mirror for you. So it's really important to look back and see, what did I learn from this experience? And put that focus back onto you, attached to your healing and your growth and what you can do to continue to create a life that is beautiful and fun and happy and peaceful, something that you enjoy and get fulfillment out of. Stop focusing on them and detach from all of that and put the attachment back on yourself, your needs, your boundaries, and your own growth. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see what else I wanted to say. Yeah, basically, the point of that is that your attachment to them was so strong that you self abandoned. Your attachment was so strong that you forgot what you needed. You pushed your needs aside, you bent your boundaries. You said, I'm just going to wait to bring this up because I don't want to have another conflict, or I don't want them to get mad at me. I don't want them to yell at me again. I don't want them to get defensive. That didn't feel good last time. But even though you're recognizing that all of these things didn't feel good, you were still so attached to them and the relationship that you weren't able to take a pause and evaluate and feel into, is this really right for me? Does this feel good to me? Does this feel like the relationship that I want to create. And let's say you haven't brought up any of these concerns to your partner, you bring them up and they're again dismissed. Well, evaluate then. Is that the kind of partner I really want to be with? How can I take my attachment to this future that I'd planned that with this person, or what I thought the relationship was going to be, or who I thought this person was going to be, and detach myself from the outcome of what I was expecting to actually decide what is right for me? Okay. So, next, pay attention to yourself and the vision you have for the life that you want to create. Put your attachment back onto you and build up all of the areas in your life that are important for you and detach from whatever outcome you're hoping to get from them. And that energy that you have that is actually focused on you and is leveling up yourself and is helping you grow is actually very magnetic, not only to your ex, but whatever partner that you want to call it. And the reason that you want them back so badly is because you're actually afraid to sit with what is left over. You're afraid to sit with the wounds, the subconscious beliefs, the fears that come up from them leaving. And so, because you're afraid to sit with these uncomfortable feelings, you stay attached to them because it's easier to put your focus onto them than it is to put your focus onto yourself and to actually face the things that you're afraid to face. That is why you stay so attached to them. That is why all you can do is think about them, because it's easier to do that than to focus on yourself. So, what wounds, fears, subconscious beliefs might be coming up? The fear that you're not enough, the fear that you're unlovable, the fear that you're unworthy of love, the belief that everybody leaves you. These are all really, really common fears, limiting beliefs that come up. And those are very uncomfortable things to feel. So, if you don't want to feel them, you will put all your focus onto the other person and why they should change and trying to understand them and figure them out instead of facing yourself. So the attachment is actually you trying to avoid the wounds that are being shown to you. So you're not even so much attached to that person or the relationship, but you're actually more attached to the stories and beliefs that you have about yourself. So you're attached to the belief that you're not enough. You're attached to the belief that you're unlovable. And by continuing to want this person who can't show up for you or who doesn't show up for you, it's reinforcing that belief that you already have about yourself. And so, because you're attached to this belief and you think that this is true, you're going to keep going after a person who is going to reinforce that belief. So the attachment is less to the person themselves, but the story and the belief that you've created within yourself. And your subconscious mind is trying to prove that story wrong. It's trying to prove that, yes, I am lovable, I am enough, but it's only going after a person that it subconsciously knows will only reinforce the beliefs that you already have about yourself, because it's only trying to overcome the story through the person that, or the type of person that created the wound in the first place. So it's this paradoxical thing where you both want to overcome this belief and to prove that you are worthy of love, but at the same time, you are attached to that belief and you're only going after people that are going to also prove that you're not worthy of love. Okay. What you do need to remember is that your thoughts and your feelings are not you. So, even if you have these thoughts that say you're unworthy, you're not lovable, you're having feelings that are feel like sadness, hurt, like longing, all of these emotions, you have to recognize that they aren't you, and that you actually can choose to act or behave in a different way that is different than the way that you feel or the way that you're thinking. And the reason that these thoughts are not you and these feelings are not you, and how you can know that they really aren't you and that you're separate from them is that you can talk back to them. So if you have a thought that says, um, you're not lovable, or that was so stupid, or you're so awkward, whatever these negative thoughts or beliefs that are coming up for you, you know that it's actually not you because you can decide that's not true. And you can also ask yourself, do I really believe that's true? Do I want to believe that's true? And you can feed your thoughts, your brain, different things to believe. So that's the first place. That's the first thing that you can think of. But that's happening on you talking back to it is going to be on that conscious level. What you really need to shift are the subconscious beliefs that you have. So those are the ones that are like automatically talking to you. That's your subconscious. That's where you actually change the type of person that you're attracted to. You actually change the way that you show up in a relationship in order to have a healthier relationship. So remember that the voice inside is not you. The emotions that you're feeling are not you. You can do things with the wrong emotion. So let's say you have no motivation, you're feeling really sad, but you know that exercising is really good for you. That even if you don't want to, exercise will make you feel better. So even though you're not motivated and you're feeling sad, you know that going outside and taking a walk is going to make you feel better. So you can go and do that even if you feel sad, even if you don't feel motivated. You don't have to let your emotions and your feelings control you. And so that's one way that you start attaching back to yourself and feeding into yourself and building that self trust in order to create the life that you actually desire. Because as long as you don't have that self trust and that self confidence, then you'll always be attracted to situations that reinforce that. You'll never trust that you can find another person or relationship that is actually good for you or healthy. You'll never believe that you can actually leave somebody because maybe you have a long past that you always go back to them, or you always find yourself weak and you always end up messaging them, or whatever it is. You have this belief right now that you always go back, but you can change that belief by changing your behaviors. And as long as you decide that that's not what you're going to do, you can take the steps to change your subconscious and create new patterns for yourself. Okay. So, yes, all of these little limiting beliefs that are coming up, they are a program that has been created within you. So they probably came from something in your childhood, and not just one thing, a repeated um, set of things that maybe were very separate. Maybe there was one comment from a parent, one comment from a teacher, one comment from a peer or friend, and they started to shape your belief about yourself and your belief about the world. And it actually started to cloud who you really authentically are, and you started believing that you have to mold yourself into what these other people are projecting onto you or what these other people want from you in order for you to be loved and accepted and not abandoned. So these are all beliefs or schemas that have been created in your brain in order to, in a way, keep you safe. But ultimately, in the long run, they are self sabotaging beliefs that are now running your life. However, the good news is that you can change these beliefs, you can change this program, and that's where the real shift happens. Because you can have all the intention to, let's say, not take your ex back if they don't come back with intention or clarity, or not to date another person that is super avoidant, or not to date another person who speaks down to you, and still end up with somebody like that. And that's because you haven't changed your programming. So, to really get your power back and to detach and to explore um, what it is that you need to in order to heal and change the programs, you have to get into the patterns, the woundings, the core beliefs, the subconscious beliefs to create a different outcome. Now, it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't stop at identifying what these beliefs are, identifying and understanding what the wounds are and how they were created. Because let's say your dad talked down to you or your mom was never there for you. Yeah, you can have an understanding of what happened, but that doesn't actually change how you show up now. It doesn't change what you attract now. And this is where talk therapy typically stops. Is you get a really clear understanding of your patterns of how you're showing up and why you're showing up, but you're still stuck in the same place. You're still wanting that same emotionally unavailable person. You're still dating people that can't commit to you or don't want to commit to you. You keep ending up in the same patterns. This is because you're only working on the conscious mind. You haven't reprogrammed the subconscious. So, this is where my work and my coaching comes in because we really go deep into the subconscious beliefs and the patterns and we rewire them using the body. So I don't want you to just like learn about the wounds and understand them. That's part of it. It's helpful, but I want you to actually heal them. I want you to create the shifts that are necessary for you to stop wanting to go back to that toxic partner or to stop attracting that partner. And what it means is that you need to create deep and lasting changes. And that usually starts with the body. It means that we have to alter the subconscious, and the subconscious lives within our body, our nervous system, not through the mind. Now, obviously, we have brains, we have to use our minds to an extent, but we pair the conscious changes with subconscious and unconscious changes together to create a more lasting change, to recode the patterns that are wired into our nervous system and into our subconscious right now. So, the best way to decode or repattern the subconscious and unconscious is through the body. It's through different types of somatic techniques like EFT tapping, through breathing, through meditation. But you have to do it with the right intent, which means you have to do it focused on whatever it is that you're trying to heal, and make sure that you're doing this on a regular basis in your real life. So you have to become energetically attuned to what you desire. You can't do the motions without actually putting in the intention and effort and energy to actually make that shift in your subconscious, because you can tell yourself all of the affirmations and you can um, believe that that's decoding your subconscious or reprogramming your subconscious, and maybe over a long time that can start to seep in. But if you're also saying affirmations and you're not backing them up with action, or you're not pairing them up with other ways to release whatever stuck emotion is preventing you from actually believing them, you're not actually going to change. So you have to become energetically attuned to what it is that you're trying to acquire or manifest. And you need to make sure that you're doing it through the body and the subconscious rather than just through the conscious. Um, this is also why, like with New Year's resolutions or deciding that you're going to start even if it's not New Year's, like you're going to start a diet today, you easily slip back into the old habits. Maybe you go a week. Maybe it's not even a week. Maybe it's 3 days and you're already like, okay, I'm done with this. That's because in your conscious mind, you decided, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to go no contact. I'm going to stop dating emotionally unavailable people. But your subconscious takes over. The old patterns that are wired into your nervous system take over because your conscious mind only controls 5% of your behavior and your subconscious controls 95%. So if you're not rewiring your subconscious, you're not changing your identity, you're not changing the patterns that are ingrained into your nervous system, you're just going to go back to the past. You're just going to keep replaying the old cycles that you always have because you haven't made the deeper internal shifts that are necessary. Let me see if there are any questions here. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Michael. Somebody wants to be a guest. I'm kind of curious what that might look like. I know somebody left some questions earlier. I got hurt so badly that I didn't want to feel that hurt again, so I finally turned inward. Romero, if you're still there, that is very good. I'm curious to know how you turned inward and if you worked on the subconscious beliefs and if that's really um, changed your life and how so. I'm so curious to know that. We've got some more people here. Let me see. I kind of want to test this just for fun. Oh, no, never mind. I don't know why I did that. Okay. It looks like we don't have any other questions right at this moment. I think I'll continue just on TikTok. I do have a 4 weeks to freedom program. So it's basically 4 weeks to detaching from your ex. We're going to help retrain your brain, retrain your subconscious to get very clear on what it is that you need to focus on, to stop focusing on them, to stop those looping thoughts, get through the emotional fog that's like telling you that you want to go back to them, you can't be without them. We're going to clear through those emotions. We're going to work on the subconscious beliefs and start to shift your subconscious so that you can actually detach from a subconscious place, from the deeper inner patterns, and actually rewire yourself to not be attracted to emotional unavailability. And you're going to discover the peace and freedom that you've always wanted. So if you're interested in that, it's linked in my bio. I'll put the link down here in the comments on YouTube, and I'll see you guys on YouTube later. All right. Do you all